Climate change is making the Earth's water cycle increasingly erratic, resulting in extreme swings between deluge and drought across the world, the United Nations has warned. The UN's World Meteorological Organization, WMO, said in a report released on Thursday that the global water cycle was becoming ever more unpredictable, with shrinking glaciers, droughts, unbalanced river basins, and severe floods wreaking havoc. The world's water resources are under growing pressure, and, at the same time, more extreme water-related hazards are having an increasing impact on lives and livelihoods, WMO Chief Celeste Saulo said in a statement accompanying the release of the annual State of Global Water Resources report. The international group of scientists assessed freshwater availability and water storage across the world, including lakes, river flow, groundwater, soil moisture, snow cover, and ice melt. Last year was the hottest on record, leading to prolonged droughts in northern parts of South America, the Amazon basin, and southern Africa. Parts of Central Africa, Europe, and Asia, meanwhile, were dealing with wetter weather than usual, being hit with devastating floods or deadly storms, said the report. At a global level, WMO said 2024 was the sixth consecutive year where there had been a clear imbalance in the world's river basins.
Have too much or too little water, reflecting the increasingly erratic hydrological cycle, it said. While the world has natural cycles of climate variability from year to year, long-term trends outlined in the report indicate that the water cycle, at a global scale, is accelerating. Stefan Uhlenbrook, WMO Director of Hydrology in the Water and Cryosphere Division, said scientists feel it is increasingly difficult to predict. It's more erratic, so either too much or too low on average flow per year, he said. As global warming drives higher global temperatures, the atmosphere can hold more water, leading either to longer dry periods or more intense rainfall. Uhlenbrook said the climate changing is everything changing, and that has an impact on the water cycle dynamics. The WMO also flagged how the water quality in vital lakes was declining due to warmer weather, and glaciers shrank across all regions for the third year in a row. The meltwater had added about 1.2 millimeters to the global sea level in a single year, contributing to flooding risk for hundreds of millions of people living in coastal zones, the report warned. The WMO called for more monitoring and data sharing across the board. Understanding and quantifying water resources and hydrological extremes is critical for managing risks, the report said, flagging the dangers of droughts, floods, and glacier loss.
Alexander Bourdet, an environmental economist, explained that the financial cost of natural and climate-related disasters is rising sharply worldwide.
It's important to look at the numbers that you were mentioning, and as you mentioned again and your reportage, these numbers are increasing. So what is extremely important is to try to cover as much as possible all the damages, but it's really challenging, especially in emerging and developing countries where you don't have always the capacity to cover the damages. And that's the challenge of the international community, of the international negotiation on climate finance that are ongoing during different COPs, for instance, in order to first address adaptation, so basically to prevent these climate-related risks, and also then to repair when you have an extreme event, the loss and damages.
Many of these damages could be reduced with better preparation, but developing countries lack the resources and insurance coverage that wealthier nations have. He stressed that most climate finance, about $1.9 trillion, goes to mitigation projects like renewable energy, while only a small fraction, $64 billion, is invested in adaptation, even though investing in adaptation provides strong returns and helps prevent losses. Wealthy countries and the private insurance sector mostly protect the developed world, leaving poorer nations exposed. In many southern countries, remittances from diaspora communities are often the only real safety net, even though this rarely shows up in official statistics. International aid is also falling short. For example, the U.S. withdrew about $40 billion in disaster aid, and while the EU contributes billions more, global aid still falls far short of the $2.3 trillion in losses caused by natural disasters. When disasters strike high-profile regions, international help comes quickly, but in places like Afghanistan, support is scarce despite urgent needs. Bourdet concluded that a major rebalancing is needed, more investment in adaptation, stronger international solidarity, and better financial mechanisms to protect vulnerable communities from the escalating impacts of climate change and natural disasters.